Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for another Kagurabachi Manga chapter review. This is going to be Kagurabachi Manga chapter 29 titled Selection. So, let's get into it. So the chapter starts off somewhat right where we left off. We get to see two new members of the Kamabui, and they are the bidding team. So last week I was saying, the Kamabui said that they didn't want to fight the Samaji clan. They have a lot of strong members. They've been raised from birth in sorcery. So if we fight them, a lot of people could die. So we're just going to make a bid to get the Sunichi. Obviously, Hayuki was pretty mad. Well, I'm going to just call her Kami. Kami was pretty mad about this whole situation because this auction sells off really like not dark, but black market weapons. And they also sell people. They're human trafficking. So obviously giving them money isn't really a good thing. So when he came up here and started fighting everybody, I was like, oh, so he's going against orders. I guess he's somewhat doing that, but there's also two other people inside the auction downstairs that's actually supposed to bid. It's a dude and a girl. We don't get their names, but the dude is he has his collar popped out. He's like, it kind of like. Actually, I got put in the thumbnail. It kind of made me but think of Gwen and Kevin from Ben 10. It kind of look like Gwen and Kevin right now, which is kind of funny. I gotta put that in the thumbnail. But basically, the girl is really nervous about everything that's going on because she didn't think the N10 Chihiro's blade would be put on auction. And the guy's like, hey, it's whatever. Now our plan is still simple. We just have to bid on the Sunichi. That's really it. That's our orders. But she's also really nervous because, well, they sell humans here. Isn't that kind of wrong to give money to these kind of people? Like, that's not right. And the guy goes, yeah, it's a really tricky situation. Obviously, giving money to these scumbags isn't really good. But our order to get the Sunichi. And besides, you don't really know what the power of the Sunichi is. Think about it this way. If we can get the Sunichi in our hands, we can save 1,000,000 lives. Then we come back over to Akame and Chihiro fighting in like the main dining hall. So I was really interested about that. He doesn't go into detail about what it can do because we don't know the abilities of the Sunichi. But when he starts to talk about how we can get it back in our possession, we can save 1,000,000 lives. We get like a backdrop of, it looked like stars. It looked like the night sky with stars. So some sort of space type of ability like stars. I don't know. Like the fact that it showed stars when he was saying this and that he's like confident we can save 1,000,000 lives. I don't know. That's really interesting. I really would like to see what the abilities of the Sunichi is. Anyway, like I said, we cut back over to where Chihiro and Akame are, and they're fighting all these random riffraffs off. And we get a flashback with Chihiro and Mrs. Sabi. And Mrs. Sabi says, why do you want to make a big ruckus and fight all the guards? Obviously, I can just teleport us in and go down to the basement. There'll probably be a few guards eventually we have to fight, but we can get past a huge chunk of them. Chihiro says that he knows the flame bone girl is going to be there, and he just wants to get it over with. And then we cut back over to two really cool panels where we see Akame on one side just mowing through a ton of riffraff and just gunning for Chihiro. And then on the other side, we see Chihiro mowing through a ton of people going to Akame. Akame's not her real name, but the flame bone girl. The reason I call her Akame is because she kind of looks like Akame from Akame Got Killed, and her name and Hayuki's name kind of sound similar, so I always get them confused, and I keep saying the wrong name every time I do the last few chapters, so I just said bump it. So as soon as they get really close to each other, the sumo guy is there, and he does his ability that can section people off in a sumo ring in like another dimension, like a little subspace, sort of like, I haven't watched Jujutsu Kaisen, but I'm guessing it's somewhat like domain expansion. I'm guessing. I don't really know the intricacy of it, but that's what I think of when I see this. And he's over to the side letting them talk while he's choking out a random guard. Because when you're inside the sumo ring that he puts you in another dimension, as soon as somebody passes out, the sumo ring instantly dissipates. So that's pretty cool. So they would either have to pass out or they have to die. And then it dissipates, and then I guess he can start it up again after a few minutes, or maybe he can do it like instantly. I don't know, but that's how his abilities works, and it's a pretty cool ability. So let me pick up my phone so I can get everything right. So we cut to a flashback again, and Mr. Sabi says, get it over with. So you want to fight this girl? And she goes, Chihiro goes, no, we'll negotiate. So we get a few panels of them talking back and forth. So basically Chihiro's telling them that he has a plan and knows that, she asked Chihiro why did he give up the Intent. Obviously, Chihiro explains that, I needed to find a way that how to get into the storehouse and how to navigate it, how to break into it. And now that I gave my sword up, I actually know how to do it. The sumo guy is really surprised that he's using Cloud Gouger, and he's really surprised that it actually broke. Well, he said that they got the information that it did break, but he didn't really believe it. But obviously, he sees Chihiro's using it. He's surprised that it even still works, even though it's broke. So that's one thing too. C says, I mean, not C. Chihiro kind of wants to team up with her, so they can both go into the storehouse to get Enten, and obviously they can get Sunichi. Well, obviously he doesn't want them to get Sunichi, but trying to negotiate, trying to tell her whatever. And C says specifically, let me get it here. Okay. Chiquito. Sorry, it's just so much dialogue. C said that there's no need, that C's just gonna proceed with the plan to go do the bidding, and C can probably find it anyway. And the sumo guy was kind of surprised that she said this, because obviously Akami was pretty mad about the whole bidding thing, because, like I said, they're selling human lives, it's human trafficking, and that's really bad. So she was making a big fuss until the last minute. So he's kind of surprised that she doesn't really want to help Chihiro and team up with him. And he also says that she knows that she commands a power on par with the enchanted blades and the importance of this assignment. There's no way. Oh, yeah, that's something else. For the sake of this country, yes, but I know you're not so cold-hearted. He's talking about Chihiro. He knows that Chihiro isn't so bad, so him getting the Enten back and probably Shinichi wouldn't be such a bad idea. And he knows Haruki kind of feels that same way too, but Haruki, or Akame, is kind of stubborn. So Chihiro tries to sway her over to his side by bringing up everything that they're doing. He brings up Mr. Inazuma, that there's a little kid here that he just saved, and he said that his sister is inside of the storehouse. So there's people here, even a little kid's sister, and he's just going to walk away for the greater good from all these innocent lives being sold off as dogs? Is that really something you want to do? And she gets mad and stomps on the ground and cracks it. And she starts to think about everything that's been happening. Her boss telling her that they're going to sell human lives, but they can get the Sonichi, so it doesn't really matter. She thinks about what Chihiro just said about how there's human lives here, even somebody's little sister or older sister, a little kid trying to break into this place by himself just to get her back. All these memories and everything that everybody was saying floods into her mind. And she goes, bump it. All of you. Enough. To the sumo guy, forget it. He's like, what do you mean forget it? What do you mean forget all of it? She says that I've had enough of picking our battles. The enchanted blades, the Rakuziki, the oxen, this Chihiro Churk, I'm destroying it all. And her head starts to bleed again. So I'm guessing that wound that Chihiro did is like flaring back up or something. And obviously Chihiro and the sumo guy are like, what? Like, they're a little confused. That was so funny. He actually does have a plan to get the Enten and the Sonichi back. He says, yeah. And the sumo guy says, I think the plan is probably to kill you after receiving the Enten and the Sonichi. And Chihiro goes, okay, well, is that good with you? The sumo guy goes, well, if I let Akame kill you after we get the enchanted blades back, then I won't get into trouble with the higher ups. So I guess that's okay. Chihiro says thanks. The sumo guy knocks out the guy that he's been choking out the whole time. Chihiro runs past Akame, how Akame runs past him. They appear back in the real world, and Chihiro is being protected by her. So that's pretty cool. Akame's going to protect him so nobody else can get towards him. He's going to run downstairs, and I guess they're going to get to the door and get the stuff back. Obviously, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy, but that's the plan for right now. Yeah, and that's about it. That's the whole chapter. Most of the chapter was just them talking and negotiating, but that's the chapter. Pretty good chapter. I really liked it. She's protecting him, which is really good. There's something else I was gonna bring up, because they could just go through the door and get the stuff back, but there's also another thing they could do. They were bringing up the fact that you have to do a ceremony to relieve custody of the storehouse, because Haruki's dad, no, granddad was sick and dying, so they did a ceremony underground, and so now the dad has custody of the storehouse inside of his body. So then Mr. Sabi and Chihito's like, well, we could do the ceremony on the dad and Haruki, huh? And give you custody so you can get everything out. That's the plan. But then they were like, well, we don't know exactly how the ceremony goes. Because when the ceremony first happened for the granddad and dad, nobody else was allowed downstairs beside them two. So we don't really know how the ceremony is supposed to go. So that's when it came up with the whole door situation. So, okay, we can just go through the door. So, I mean, yeah, that's that too. And, yeah, that's about it. That's the whole chapter. Oh no, yeah, last chapter, Chihito was saying that the Cloud Galaxy doesn't have that much magic left inside of it. So he should be the one that can, like, run out the magic. So who knows how much longer he can use this blade for. So hopefully he can use it long enough to get the N10 back, because that's his main blade. I would have been kind of cool if he could dual wield blades. That would have been dope. That would have been really cool. I kind of want to know what the power of the N10 is. I mean, the Shinichi is, since we saw like a starry sky. That'd be really interesting. And, well, obviously Haruki wants to, or Kami wants to destroy everything. Which, I mean, that's a pretty good motive. Hopefully Chihito can get out of there when he gets to N10 and Shinichi before he comes at him. But I still don't know if the higher-ups know about what she's doing in the sumo guy. Because they have two bidders down there. That's the whole plan. So I doubt they know what she's doing too. So she's definitely going against orders. She's definitely going against orders. And then we got Kevin and Gwen over here doing the bid. But that's a chapter. So, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I think you all will ever be a wonderful human beings, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right.